channel. Today's video is going to be a different sort of video than I've done before. It's going to be my tricks and tips. Now, I might show some of these, I might not, just because I've already done my full face makeup and don't know if I should. But anyway, some of these you've probably seen me do before, but I'm just going to show you my little tips and tricks for doing like a flawless makeup look. Okay, I'm not speaking well today, so let's get straight into it. I've got a little list here. I've got about 15 of them. Yeah, it's a small list, 15. First one is use concealer all around the eyebrows to clean up any mistakes or any sort of stray hairs that may be around. So the concealer I use for that is the Napoleon Paradis Pro Palette Concealer. And this has just got 3 different shades of concealer in it. And then I usually use the Sigma F70 brush. And sometimes I'll mix the lightest and the darkest colours together. Or sometimes I'll just use the middle one. Mix the two. And what I do is I do my outline of my brows, clean up any mistakes, and then I go back in underneath and just clean up any of the brow hairs that may be there. And then I usually go over the top also. And you might not be able to see the difference, but this one I didn't put it in, and then this one I did. And you can see that the brow hairs are sort of covered here. Just a little bit, not too much. I'll just do the same to the other brow. Sometimes I just go in with my finger and blend the concealer and the foundation together. So it's really dark. It seems really dark. I hope that's a little bit better. This lighting here, like around the strip of light around my shoulders here, it's screwing up my camera. So yeah. Okay, next tip. Oh, and if you need to set it, just use like a small little eyeshadow brush or big eyeshadow brush but small brush, and just set it with a little bit of powder. You don't have to, but I do recommend it. What I usually grab is the powder that I just use on my face, because I always use powder on my face, and I usually use some sort of large shading brush, and that's only for above the eyebrow, and I just usually pat it in. And then for underneath the eyebrow, I usually grab some sort of highlighter. This is my NYX highlighter in Barely There. And then I use my E45 brush. And then I just press that in really lightly. Just shuffle it around. And that's that one. Quite nice and easy, and that's sort of all set. So yeah, next tip, number 2, is use concealer to clean up any mistakes. So it's a lot like the eyebrows, but like if you've got some concealer, or no, you've got some eyeshadow out here, and then you just need to clean it up, and you've done your eyes before your face. No, you've done your face before your eyes. You just grab some concealer and just clean it up. And then just set the powder again. Set it again with some powder, just the same sort of like that. Sometimes you can use, sometimes you can use like the powder you use on your face, but I do recommend if it's underneath your eyes at all, I recommend using the powder you use underneath your eyes. But if it's anywhere else, face powder's fine. I do recommend maybe translucent powder might be the best, but like still pressed. Keep it with pressed. I don't like the whole loose powder. Next tip, number 3, is my number 1 rule. And I do not matter who it is that I'm talking to, if it's my mum, if it's one of my friends, if it's a stranger on the street, this is my number one rule. Blend. Blend, blend, blend. Always. It's my 3 words, one word 3 times. 100% my number 1 rule. Eyeshadow must be always blended. As you can see, like, my crease colour has blended out to nothing. If you've got problems with it, I might do a video that, like, your normal tips and tricks, your normal mistakes that anyone can do, and then how you can fix them. But what you just do, you just keep blending until it's all gone, and I recommend a nice big fluffy brush like this one. This is the F40 from Sigma, E40. But Mac do have the 224 brush, I think that's what it is. But there's quite a few different types, so you should be easy to find. But that's my number 1 rule. And also, this is like the one thing I always pick up on anyone, is if you've got a line around here, it drives me insane. You've got to blend it. It's like, I used my beauty blender today, so I just blended it down my neck, and yeah, you just blend. I always try and get to blend it around here, but try and blend it until nothing. Like, can you tell I am wearing any foundation on my neck? I hope not, but yeah, I can't, but yeah. That's my second thing. Well, my 4th rule is ensure you always blend your foundation down your neck, no matter if it's all the way down here or just to here. It has to be blended. I like here basically because colours kind of change between here and here, but if you have matched your foundation perfectly to your face, then it should be no problem, and you should just blend it. There should be no problems. I've had problems before where I've actually missed this whole part of my face with blending my foundation, and I've done contouring and everything, and I was going out into the car, and luckily my mum noticed before anything happened. On to the 5th tip and trick, whatever they are. The next one is use angles to highlight your work. Like, if I was to highlight my highlight, I'd probably have to move the face, like here. Can you see I'm wearing a highlighter at all? Or contour? No. So you've got to sort of move your face. Yeah. And it just shows it. You just have to show it in the best light. Usually natural light, which is what I use 100% of the time. Hence the crappy showmanship of this one. Can't even see it. So, natural light, yes, it changes, but you sort of got to work it in. But using natural light to highlight your work is one of the best lights ever, and you just have to sort of experiment with angles for your best lighting choices, best time of day, and all that sort of jazz. Okay. Rule number 2. I only have 2 rules when it comes to makeup. Blend, 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 and my second rule is practice, practice, practice. Now, a lot of the times I don't practice. I use my camera to practice, and if I end up not liking the look, I don't end up posting it. Except for that one that I did drugstore, full drugstore makeup look. I hated that look, but I still posted it. So it's not always a thing, but I am planning on doing another one just because I just don't like it that much. But yeah, always practice, do things 5, 6, 7 times if you really want. And it's one rule I have to continue doing, but as you can see, I don't do eyeliner, so I don't actually really practice doing eyeliner. It's just one thing I need to practice and do more of, I guess. Just gotta practice more, make the time. If you work practice on the weekends. If you do YouTube, practice during the week when you go to work, and then film on the weekend. It's actually really smart. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Anyway, seventh rule is this one goes with practice, practice, practice. This one is makeup takes time to practice. So you've got to try and fit it into your life schedule. So as I was saying, if you film videos, you practice during the week, then film on the weekend. If you work, practice on the weekend, and then wear it to work. It's sort of as simple as that. If you really wanted to practice before you go to work, if you're going out and you need it, or you have a formal or something like that, practice. If you've got like a formal or something and you're not allowed to wear makeup to school, practice on the weekend. Practice 3, 4, 5 times each day on the weekend, and then you'll be a pro by the time it comes to your formal. Or if you have like a gathering or something like that and you work and you can wear makeup, practice each day before the gathering. Give yourself maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 days to practice, and then wear it for the gathering. So you've got to make the time to practice. So wake up a little bit earlier or something like that. If you need, eventually you'll become really good at it, and it will take you about half an hour to do. I think this is the 8th tip. Always brush through your eyebrows to even out the product. So as you can see, I put product in my eyebrows, but if I didn't, I always brush through my eyebrows with like a spoolie like this one. I brush through them first before I put any product in them, and then brush through them once as I'm putting the product through them, and then brush through them about twice after I've done it all, just to make sure all the product is all through and there are no sparse spaces. If there are, just put some more product through it, and that's how you get flawless brows. If you don't like the shape of your brows, you can always use this to change it. But yeah, it's just one thing I can never do. I can never not brush through my brows. It's just something not worth doing. If you're gonna not brush through your eyebrows, why do you do eyebrows? I'm sorry. It's a thing. This is a huge tip. Now, if you've got really big bushy eyebrows, you're going to create really ugly shadows underneath your eyes. Now, don't ask me, I'm not really sure, but anything bigger than these, I think, maybe. Small eyebrows are really nice, like smaller. And these are like my normal, to me these are normal size eyebrows. If you go smaller than these, they don't shape my face, but see, if big eyebrows shape your face the way you want, all the power to you. And if they create some weird eye shading or anything, highlighter. It's always really good. Or concealer. Same thing, really. Big brows do create shadow. So you just have to sort of counteract that with some highlighting and concealer and all that, if you really want. Now, if you take photos of your makeup, or if you're a makeup artist and you take photos, I don't know, any way, anything, doesn't really matter. Always use like a basic background when you're taking photos. Just because a background that's a lot like what I've got beside me, which you can't actually see, but a background like that has a lot of different products and all this, whereas this background, I've got a few decor pieces here, some lights in the back, and then my cupboard doors. If I was to open up my cupboard doors, you would see all my junk that's in there, and it would just distract you basically from me. So yeah, it's a huge tip if you're taking photos or filming or whatever. Okay. My 11th tip is always look at your work in different angles. So I always look from here, like I've got a mirror here. right beside my camera. So I always look in this mirror and then in this mirror, and I always look at my viewfinder, which shows me this angle, but it can show me this angle when I look over here because it's over this way, and my camera is here, so it shows me a few different angles. So I always look at my work in a mirror, different angles, but if I'm doing makeup on someone else, I stand behind them, sit them down and look at them in a mirror. So yeah, if you do your makeup yourself, I recommend maybe asking someone else for their opinion. It's completely up to you though. Ooh, next tip, which it is 2:30 and I have not even drunk half of this, but it says drink at least a litre of water each day, and this just ensures that your complexion is still glowy and gorgeous and you don't break out that much, and keeps you hydrated and all that. So I haven't even drank half a water bottle yet, so I'm doing great for the day. But yeah, so I always recommend drinking like if you got like a litre water bottle, drink half of that in the morning just before you wake up, or 600ml water bottle just before you wake up. I don't know, or just as you wake up. Completely up to you, but that's what I just recommend. I do it most of the time. It's really good. But yeah, if you don't drink enough water each day, I get headaches, you can feel sick, stuff happens. So that's what I recommend. Okay, I got 3 more tips for you. The first, the 13th one is set all your creams. Now if you've got like cream highlighter, cream contour, cream blush, your foundation and your concealer, ensure that all of it is set. So what I do is if I'm using all 5 of those products, I will apply my foundation, then my concealer, then my cream contour, then my cream blush, and then my cream highlighter, and then I will set, and then I will set my under eyes with a powder, and then I'll set my whole face with a translucent powder, and then I will go over my contour, blush and highlighter really lightly with a powder of each. And that's just what I do, but I'm like a normal to oily, so if you are dry, I do recommend still, you think your creams are fine without putting powder over the top and just setting it with translucent powder, then that's okay. Just continue with your makeup. Yeah, if you're dry, then 100% set your under eyes, but if you're dry, then I recommend set if you feel like it, don't if you don't want to. But when setting creams, I always pat, never buff. It's just a no-no. Yeah. But if you are dry, you can set if you want, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Basically like that. Next rule. This is like one of my God-forsaken rules that you have to do. And I've already stated it, but you 100% always have to set your under eyes. No matter if you're dry, if you're oily, if you're sensitive, no matter what. Because if you apply colour underneath your eyes, like I do, it will come off if you don't set it. If you apply mascara, which I recommend you do on your lower lashes, it will flake off and set in your concealer. So I just recommend always setting concealer. Even if you've done like a huge triangle, set it. You never know what might happen. My last tip, I promise it's my last tip, always clean your makeup brushes. Try and do them at least once a month. If you have to, maybe once every 2 months if you don't use them that often. But if you use your makeup brushes maybe 2-3 times a week, wash them every month. So it's one thing I try and do is to wash my brushes once a month. If I do leave it a little bit longer, it's usually like a week or 2 after 1 month. So it's always really close to the 1 month mark. But if you do wash your brushes, if you do wear makeup maybe 4 times a week, wash your brushes every 2 weeks, or maybe just the ones that have all the wet products in it, like your foundation and your concealer brushes, and maybe your eye brushes. Maybe just like spot clean your eye brushes every week. Deep clean your big brushes every 2 weeks if you wear makeup maybe 4 times a week. I try and spot clean my eye brushes after every use, and then after a few uses I try not to use the same foundation brushes and concealer brushes every so often. I do have quite a few brushes so I can do it, but if you've only got one set, I recommend every 2 weeks. Yeah, it's very hygienic, that because you do get a lot of yeah, so just ensure that you wash your brushes regularly, once a month, if not every 5-6 weeks. And if you use your brushes like a lot, if you use a lot of makeup like me, try and wash them maybe every 2 weeks, 3-4 weeks. It's just sort of something you need to do, is wash brushes regularly, or at least change your brushes up regularly. I don't know. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this tips and tricks video. It's more tips than tricks, but I'm going to be doing like a beauty hacks video soon, so they might be most of my tricks. That's going to be like a showy video for you guys. This one was more like a telling video with all my tips and tricks that I like to do a flawless makeup. But I just thought I would get the beauty tips and tricks out of the way. So yeah, and I had more of them anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any more of my videos. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks guys. Bye.